Howdy, folks. You know, doing another video out today. There was some requests for some new, more exciting content. I will oblige you. Today, some packages came in the mail for me. And I know, much to the displeasure of one individual, this is not a mukbang. Sadly, I find that type of content abhorrent. Give me a moment. Got a little tunes going on the old cassette player. But yeah, I find that type of content sad, disturbing, and so I don't do it. If you want to have a chat over a meal, hey, great, have a chat over a meal. But don't turn it into some ostentatious fetish, because really that's all I can decry it as. Oh, Brody, why are you destroying the packaging with the scissors? Because frankly, these aren't ever going back in here. Oh, ho, ho, ho. And I pulled out the, ooh, well, thank you. The second one, no, these are both for me. What is this second one? It's a massive package for, I feel like I bought a very small object. I guess we'll find out. So first off, some little packaged pins. And these I bought separately from what's called a lot. Now in eBay etiquette, basically a lot is a giant collection of something. Sometimes you can get pieces and parts from those rather than one giant mass of things. But in button collecting, the general etiquette is you're not going to be able to look at a button and say, hey, could I get that one specifically? Because no one has the time to price them all individually. So we're gonna start out simple, big. We got ourselves a nice little Perot 1996 for North Dakota. Since I'm heading up there soon enough, we'll gently set that down. Next up, we have my personal favorite of this most recent collection. I'll have to reach in put it in a lovely little bag for me, which I accidentally resealed when I was opening it. I'll go ahead and reach down in here and we'll fish all of them out, but we'll just do this gently. Trying to keep my voice nice and flat because I've heard legend that apparently some people use me for workouts, they use me for ASMR to fall asleep to, and that's great. That's great for you. And honestly, I wish you all the best in doing that. And I just remembered what this second package is, but that's not important. So let's set that aside, and we'll go with this one next. And this, we'll talk a little more about this later. This is a McCarthy-Lindsay pin. Now, why is that exciting? We'll talk about the New York City Dem primary in a minute, but what you do need to know is that Gene McCarthy, top name, was a anti-war candidate. Let's go with that. I was going to call him progressive, but we'll just call him an anti-war candidate. Opposed to LBJ, opposed to even JFK. More someone you would see aligned with McGovern and Shriver. Later in life, he became a bit of a nutcase, but I digress. Really fun pin. Made in Houston, Texas. How fun is that? You can see right down there. If you look at the edges of these sometimes, which, oh, there we go, focused. You can oftentimes find who made them and where they were made. On older pins, you tend to find that on the back, and I think something tells me I may have accidentally bought a replica pin with this one, but that's okay. Honestly, it makes me feel less morally due. Well, I don't know, the printing. It might be a resurfaced one, who knows? It probably is a replica though, which makes me feel better about buying it, because that is a Strom Thurmond button. Now, here, we'll see if I can get that to focus. Whoop, whoop, whoop. There we go. I have to hide my face. Really bad person. States' right Democrat or a Dixiecrat, ran in 1948. The idea of the Dixiecrats was that they would impede Truman's election enough that they could take it to the House, which would go to a contingent election where the top three candidates end up in the race. Yeah. They weren't good people. So I trust this buyer, but you can usually tell because look how shiny that is. It is a replica pin. Because usually on the older pins, like this McCarthy one here, you usually start to get some type of scaling, some type of rust. Next up, and this one, oh wow, that's beautiful though. This one isn't original, it's just in fantastic condition. This is an all the way with LBJ. Hide behind that. Now, what's funny about these pins is these were made by the Barry Goldwater campaign. Also not a great human being. Maybe I'll talk about him some other time. But in the long story, he basically said that there would be escalation in Vietnam and it would, end up in nuclear war. Even though he also kind of wanted escalation in Nam, it's convoluted. So a lot of it was, all the way with LBJ? Yeah, all the way to atomic annihilation, which completely stupid, and he lost in a landslide. Now here is what I'm not going to go through every single pin on this one, because if I did, I would be here until next week. And I love you guys. I do. You guys are great. I appreciate all the feedback you give me. I appreciate talking to you about these videos. Even if I come off as embarrassed, I'm really flattered. I don't like showing when I'm flattered. I find it kind of immature of myself, but that's okay. And I'm doing my best to keep the wrapping here intact because I'm probably going to slide it back in. There you go. I'll put that over my face. Hopefully it focuses. Whoop. I think it did. The main reason I bought this, so this is what you get when you buy a lot, is a lot. It is a lot of buttons. Personally though, my top favorite out of these ones, Kennedy Cope. That's actually really fun. I didn't read all of these, I'll be honest, because I was really just excited to get my hands on this one right here. And I tell you what, I will gently remove him just to show you. So, boop. He's tiny little guy. But Robert Taft was part of the conservative wing at that time of the Republican Party. Basically, a bit of a hard ass. When you compare that to someone like Dewey, I don't know why I keep leaning over. Or, give me a moment here while I put that back in. Or someone like Nelson Rockefeller. I don't know why I have to hide my face, that sucks. Who were considered and would later go on to be named aptly Rockefeller Republicans. They were the more progressive branch. Taft was solidly conservative. Not that that was necessarily a bad thing, not saying it was a good thing either. But what makes that one right there so fun is that during the 1948 RNC, which was, funnily enough, nearly every single party held its convention in Philadelphia that year. The Republicans, the Democrats, and the Progressive Party, which is Henry Wallace, but we'll talk about this another time. I've got a whole video planned for him. And then there was also Birmingham, but that was for the States Right Party. But at the RNC, they served Pepsi. Pepsi kept the bar stocked with their products. So I love the fact that it's kind of like it's a pseudo Pepsi logo, it invokes that type of nostalgia. And that's the fun thing about collecting buttons. You don't really have to justify why. You can just say, I like it. We'll set that aside for now. Actually, I'll tell you what, probably can enjoy the noise of the plastic as I close it, fall asleep to it or something, but we'll gently set that, and we'll actually put the others on top of that. This one might be a longer one, folks. I do hope you can bear with me for the duration of this video. Okay, that's set aside now. We do have one more, and this one is the one that I'm begrudgingly excited about, because the problem is they refunded me $12.50, which was the price of 2 separate things that I bought from them. Oh dear God, they sent me whole collection menus. But I don't know which one. They didn't say which one they were out of stock of. Oh dear God, holy. Okay, well that's, I'm not trying to collect, holy sh. It's a pamphlet. They sent me a whole pamphlet. They just mailed me their entire catalog. Okay, alright, whatever. That's getting thrown away later anyways. So, I suppose, in a way, this is kind of the exciting bit, because I have absolutely, make sure nothing's down in there, I have absolutely no clue if it's the Reagan one or the, God, I hope it's the Goldwater one. I have a bad feeling, but Let's see. Oh, it was the Reagan one. Yes. Oh my God, they were out of it. Yes. Dude, I don't care that you're sorry. That is actually the best news you could have given me. Mwah. Wow, this is like a really nice like type up. Well, you're welcome. Oh, they gave me a free RNC button from 1980 because of that out of stock on their website. Oh, it's even more beautiful. And wow, Jesus Christ, they must be desperate for business if they're like giving me all this crap. Like, again, the buttons are hidden inside of another fucking magazine. Look at this. Why? Why do you send me these? But that's fine, you know. Good for you, Patsy Mink. That is a really fun 1980 convention button they gave me there. Jesus Christ. You can buy 100 Joe Biden for vice president button. Here, hold on. I gotta show you this because you'll get a kick out of this. Oh no. Where were you? Right here. 100 for $49.50. If I am to be reading that correctly. Right there. So if you want 100 Joe Biden buttons, call me. I'll get you this. But let's get on to the main attraction. This is actually conveniently in a little baggie, and they only used one really thin piece of tape. Won't be enough to foil me. No, because I actually brought scissors for once. There we go. Oh my God, why do they tape this so much, please? This video's runtime is long enough as is without me sitting here fighting a plastic bag. Like, I know you guys get a kick out of this. And apparently I got someone through a whole 45-something minute long workout session with one of these. But I've got other things I want to talk about today. But we're making good pace. This might just be a longer video. I know people usually drop off right around this mark anyways. Actually, most people drop off in the first 3 minutes, but that's okay. So, let's start out with the free pin they gave me because they were out of stock of the Reagan ones. Down Pike to Washington, full speed ahead. Detroit, 1980. Shoop. I'll be honest, I don't read much into the 1980s. It's the Reagan era. I really do not care for Ronald Reagan. You know, maybe I should just do a whole day where I rant about conservative political figures who I'm not terribly fond of. That'd be really fun. They put this one in what appears to be a protective case. I mean, it is in great condition. It's like got some dust over it. I'll fish this out later, but this is a Hubert Humphrey for the, I believe the union is called the United American Farm Workers. It's like UAFW or it's something. So that's what the little eagle at the top is, the CCC, mostly because a lot of agricultural workers are Spanish speaking. So, you know, you got to swing to your bases. Okay. And now here's the one that I'm really thrilled about. This, despite my utter hatred for him, oh wow, this is in great condition too, is a Goldwater pin. So, I'm actually going to take the time to fish this one out. And I'm going to hope that this cassette doesn't run out on me as well while I do this. And that I don't make a clown of myself. Oh, come on. They used a thicker staple on this one. And regrettably, the button's a bit more fragile than the others. So it's not going to be a daily wear. Not that most of my buttons are. Come on, baby. Come on. Hey. Okay, that's one side. I had to say it. Okay, and while we wait for that to kick on, we're halfway there. We're back to it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to capture. John has good taste in cassette. I'll give him that. Okay. Set the bag aside. Oh, wow, these are really nice cases, too. Okay. Oh, come here. Oh, well, aren't you just the most beautiful thing in the world? So earlier, you might have heard me mention a chap called Barry Goldwater. Now, that's a really cool last name, right? He was a senator from Arizona, got absolutely landslided in 1964 because it was 1964. Kennedy was dead. LBJ was kind of golden on that election. There was no way he really could have fucked that up. But with a name like that, they decided to do something a little cool, and I'll see. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can. There you go. That is actual gold flake. So back in the day, this little pin right here would have had a little bit of water in it. Now that's evaporated out, obviously, just with the course of time. But still, that is a very fun, three-dimensional little flying saucer, you know, of a pin. And I'm so pleased that that's the one that came in, because I really didn't want to order another one of these, because this is the best one that I saw, condition-wise. A lot of them tend to have scraping over this bulb. God, yeah, I'm excessively pleased about that. We'll stick that in here with the others. And I will take back out the McCarthy Lindsay pen as we transition into our next segment, which I'm not going to change the music for. I'm just going to wear this pin now. Let's talk about New York. Who doesn't love fucking New York City, man? You know? Obviously, I could talk about Buffalo. I could talk about Syracuse. I could talk about any other mayoral primary in the fine land of New York. But we're going to talk about the Big Apple itself. Zohran Mamdani. What a beautiful victory on his behalf. I'll be honest, he started out in February at 1%. 1%. That's a joke candidate. For context, I mean, in order to receive federal matching funds for, say, a presidential election, which two wildly different things, but, you know, the essence of it stands, you need 5% for matching funds. There's only ever been one third party in the last 50 years. Yeah, 50 years that's actually pulled that off. That was Ross Perot with the reform ticket. Now, the thing that makes this primary special is it was between two people. Really, God bless Brad Lander, God bless everyone else who went out and ran, but this was a race between Andrew Cuomo and Zohran Mamdani. I did not hydrate before I started this. So a 43.5 as the last time I checked, which we were at 93% reporting, percent margin versus something like 36, 37. So for context, you need 50% to win outright. The next round, because what they do is ranked choice voting, right? So let's say my ticket was, which this probably would have been at least the first three on my ticket. Actually, I lied because I can only really think of two who I really like. The rest of them are kind of nobodies. Adrian Adams, not bad, but... so I would have ranked Zohran first, right? And then I would have ranked Brad Lander second, right? Now, what makes that interesting? Why does that matter? So let's say that Lander had done better, right? Mamdani, I've tried. It's going to be another thing where I say it funny for like a week and then I get it down perfectly. I was practicing this all day. I'm just going to call him Zohran because I think I can pull that off without fucking it up. So let's say that Zohran somehow got absolutely fucked, right? Does terribly in the first round, right? So what happens is slowly but surely candidates are eliminated, right? From that primary. They no longer have the viability. They are removed. And the thing that happens is they go down and they say, okay, let's say the person who ranked Zohran first, who did they rank second? So in this situation, since I ranked Lander second, my vote changes from a Zohran vote to a Lander vote. So chances are the 10, 11% that went to Lander will probably shift to Mamdani in the second round, and we will see him push over that 50% threshold, which is beautiful news for New York City. I myself am not a democratic socialist. I don't advocate for the DSA. I don't think the DSA is really viable. They're kind of allergic to power. But God, it's a good win. You know, I've always considered myself more progressive, even with the Democratic Party's rather sad state, God, someone needs to primary Chuck Schumer. But to have someone with these actively cost of living populism policies, despite smearing of being a communist, of being, I hate to say this, there was a fellow for the Boston Globe who put it best. There's something utterly beautiful about a city so scarred, right? So deeply fused with the idea of Islamophobia, right? I mean, and who could blame him? 9/11. Understandably, you wouldn't be very trusting. But somehow that city sat down and 24 years later said, we're going to elect a Muslim for mayor. We're going to elect Zohran Mamdani. That is the beauty of New York City. It is a city of immigrants, supported by immigrants, and for everyone. And where was I? I was going somewhere with this. And, despite what you might see from the right saying, he's trying to establish a new Muslim caliphate, we're going to see terrorism and jihad and intifada, which buzzwords, all of them. I don't believe that supporting Palestine necessarily means that you support the intifada, but, to each their own, whatever you want to paint. It was funny, I had a chap who said, well, you saw that he took a photo with Hassan Piker, right? And I had to sit there for a moment and think to myself, okay, he took a photo with a popular leftist streamer who admittedly has extremely controversial views. Didn't Trump take a photo with Jeffrey Epstein? Didn't he hang out with Jeffrey Epstein? I don't think a photo equals an endorsement of anyone. I've gotten photos with people I know for a fact I disagree with, including Vivek Ramaswamy's bald spot. But yeah, no, a beautiful victory on his behalf. Free rent-stabilized tenants, free buses, and yes, the argument always comes out, well, nothing is free, you gotta pay for it in your taxes. It's about who you tax. If you tax the middle class and you tax, those who are struggling out there making, $27,000 a year, of course it's gonna be an unpopular policy. But if you're gonna go after the Wall Street elite, you're gonna go after the billionaires and millionaires who barely paid their fair share, or let's be honest, they don't pay their fair share. They just don't. They don't. Then I think that's a policy worth chasing. I don't think it's socialist to say that if you make more, you can pay more. There's no reason to levy a tax against the middle class at all. But yeah, last night I was celebrating that a little too hard, to be honest with you. So I kind of a blur those hours. All I knew that I was up Zohraning my Mamandi until I Kumo'd. So yeah. And I did promise a little aside about Lindsay here at the bottom. So why do I bring him up? Lindsay was kind of another progressive figure in New York City's mayoral history. He was officially a Republican, but the thing is he had gone from Democrat to Republican. And even the Rockefeller Republicans thought he was really strangely liberal. It didn't help that there was a crime wave in New York City at the time, and it kind of looked like he was just kind of ruling as an anarchist. The movie Escape from New York, right? Great film if you've never seen it. Kurt Russell stars. In many ways, I think it kind of reflects what people thought of John Lindsay's New York. Granted, it came out quite a while after he was out of office, but it's hard not to see some parallels between the Duke and Lindsay. Watch the film; it's a great film. Do I think Mamdani is in any way going to be like Lindsay? No. Truth be told, I think this is another AOC situation. And the leftists who are less, moderate than I am, have already begun their usual hissy fit of, I hope he doesn't become the next AOC, right? But the thing is, good governance comes from compromise. You don't want to compromise everything. That's just useless. At that point, you may as well not even bother trying to govern. But by taking some losses here and there, but getting victories elsewhere, you actually get more done. And obviously Zohran is probably going to have to moderate some of his positions. There's it's not going to be possible for him to do everything he said so. That's how politicians are. They promise a lot, they deliver what they can, or sometimes they just don't. I still hope for all of New York City that he does deliver on most of what he promised. I think they deserve it, you know. For once, I can say fully, New York City is the greatest city in the world. Just for these few days. The general election obviously hasn't happened yet, so he's not officially mayor, but becoming the Democratic candidate in New York City is as good as mandate of heaven. You know, Eric Adams, he's a joke candidate at this point, and what will I do? I don't know. I'll eat a pine leaf. I'll eat like a fucking branch from a pine tree with the needle still on it if this happens. He's not going to see a resurgence. We're not going to see a victory out of him. And personally, the thing with Andrew Cuomo is he's from a legacy politician family. Mario Cuomo was also mayor at one point. He famously thought about running for president in 1992, but didn't. He ended up losing in the next year's New York City mayoral election quite badly. And then his son is a sex pest who was the former disgraced governor of the very state he called home, the state that Thomas Dewey once called home, and Nelson Rockefeller too, for that matter. A lot of famous politicians come out of New York, both the city and the state. But you know, it's interesting because really the primary did come down to a battle between two immigrant families, one Italian and, well, yeah. You're going to hear people talk about it enough. I don't think I need to keep rambling. So, no. I think there's a brighter tomorrow. If Mamdani, if his victory sets the pace for what we're going to see in the coming years, then I truly do believe that we might see good things, that there is reason to hope, that compassion does conquer. And I'll continue to believe these things. It's better that way. Life's happier that way. So to all of you out there, I hope you have a lovely evening. Enjoy yourselves. Stay safe. Stay out of the rain and out of the heat for that matter. And have a good night.